In Shots for Foxy Walk, it took as many as 6 puppeteers to accomplish his full range of movements. So I've been pretty excited to see this movie Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, full disclosure, I never played any of the video games, so when I walked into this movie, I didn't know how it was going to compare to the video games. But luckily for me, I wanted to go see this movie with my very good friend Hannah, and she's played all of the video games. So she was explaining to me throughout the movie how this movie was and was not accurate to the video games. I do have a lot of things I liked about this movie, but there are a few things that I didn't like. The first thing I liked about this movie is I actually thought it did a really good job keeping up with the lore. Now, I looked into Five Nights at Freddy's, I looked into all the backstories behind Freddy Fazbear's, and they did a really good job. They didn't really change a thing about how everything happened, all the characters, all the animatronics. They stuck to the lore really, really well. It was just a really creepy yet fun adventure to just see these animatronics at work. My favorite part was when they squint their eyes. It's really funny because, you know, when you look at them, they're pretty creepy, they're pretty scary. Sometimes they do movements like a human would. They're meant to be seen as more living creatures than just robots. I thought the pace was actually quite good. There are a couple points in the movie where it slowed down a little bit, but for the most part, it was all about building up the story, building up the characters, giving us some backstories into the main characters, but also giving us backstories into Freddy Fazbear's and what happened there in the 80s. So all the stuff that the audience needs to know, especially for the audience who has never heard of this movie, who have never played the video games, like anybody who's completely new to Five Nights at Freddy's, this movie did a good job explaining everything so they knew what was going on and they could track along with it. I like the characters in this movie. It was great seeing Josh Hutcherson back. I haven't seen him in a minute. Honestly, the last movie I saw him in was the last Hunger Games movie, and that was a while ago. So it was really great to see him in this movie. He had a very interesting backstory too, and that actually did play into some of the aspects of the movie. His sister Abby, who had this unique gift that she kind of communicated with all the kids who had gone missing during the 80s. Vanessa was a cool addition, and then you have the legend Matthew Lillard. I'm really, really glad that how they utilized him. There was a really great plot twist in the movie that had to do with him. So the things I didn't like about this movie is this movie was building up a lot of hype with how scary it could be, and I'll admit it was good. There was a lot of tension, but the jump scares were very, very small. There was only one really good jump scare, maybe 2 in the movie. I was just expecting a lot more jump scares in the movie, and I was a tad disappointed in the lack of jump scares. Adding the ghost kids in the movie was good. It did play into the whole plot of the movie. If anyone's seen the movie The Black Phone, which came out just a couple years ago, also a Blumhouse production, The Black Phone did the exact same thing that they're doing in this movie, where somebody could communicate with a bunch of dead kids, and eventually the dead kids basically gave them the secret to success. I just don't like when movies do that. I don't like the whole copy and paste thing. I think it's lazy script writing, and they could have gone a different route. Those are my only negative thoughts on the movie. I honestly enjoyed this movie. I think it was fun. I think it was good. I think a lot of you out there are going to really enjoy it. So I highly recommend, if you're a fan of Five Nights at Freddy's, go check out this movie as soon as you can, because I think you're really going to enjoy it. So for Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 Mudflaps. And remember to leave me a thumbs up and drop in the comments below which Five Nights at Freddy's game is your favorite. See you next time.